Welcome to 7-2, day 2. So now we're going to actually write some exponential functions. Now, if you remember the other day, we learned what the formulas were. The difference is today, they're not going to tell you at what rate for sure that these cans or whatever the percentage is going to be. So we're actually going to have to find that percentage, but when we do that, we're not necessarily going to find the specific percentage. We're just going to find what that base value should have been. So here's what we have. They're going to give us a base year, and then they're going to give us what would be like another point on the line. If you remember, when we do like y equals mx plus b, and we're trying to write an equation, but we don't necessarily know what the y-intercept is, we would plug in for slope, and then we would have a random point from the line that we knew worked, and we would plug in that point. If the point was 2, 3, let's say, we would plug in 2 for x, 3 for y, solve for b, and then rewrite the equation from there. So that's basically what we're going to have to do here. If we know that the equation is going to be y equals the starting value times the base being raised to the power of x. Again, A is the starting value, so we know we have 3.2 million cans to start with. And then I'm going to use another point on the line. Now again, since 2005 is my starting year, I'm going to want to use a different time. I'm sorry, that's not where I want to go. Let's go with y first. So it would be the 420,000 cans. Since this appears in millions, let's put this in millions. And so that's going to be 0.42. So that's what I'm going to plug in for y. Okay, and so then for the x, since we started in 2005, to get to 2010, take 2010 minus 2005, and you get 5. So that's your time value, t, or the x. Well, we don't know at what rate the aluminum cans are being recycled, so that's what our b value is going to be. So now I can solve for the base value. I'm going to divide by 3.2. And that's going to give me a long decimal. I don't know that I really want to write it out, but it's 0.13125. If I want an exact answer, I'm just going to leave that in my calculator. I recognize that I need to do the fifth root to get b by itself. So when I plug this in, I'm going to do that. You type 5 first, and then you do the x root key. If you don't know where that is, I can show you on your calculator, but it looks like this. And then I'm just going to do second answer, because that will automatically plug in this big long decimal for me. Fabulous. And then that is going to give me what that value would be. And so in this case, if I want to round to 2 decimal points, it would be 0.67, because it's like 0.66622 or something like that. Okay, so that, if that's the b value, when I go to write the equation, it would be y equals 3.2 parentheses 0.67 raised to the power of x. Now it wants to know how many cans made from recycled aluminum can be expected in the year 2050. Okay, so at this point what I'm going to do is take 2050 minus 2005. That means I'm plugging in 45 up here, right? Instead of using this rounded 0.67, that number is still in my calculator, so I'm just going to do the little power key, which will automatically, on my calculator, it's going to say A-N-S with the caret key there. And then I'll just type 45. And that's going to give me the most exact answer. Now what it gives me, though, is 4.7 times, gives me 4.7, a whole bunch of decimals, and then it says E -8. Remember that e -8 means times 10 to the -8. So that means this is a really small number. So basically 0. So turns out a single can is not really able to make very many future cans, can it? Another way that they might give this to you is just in point form. These are a lot easier because literally that's your starting value. So you can just plug in 256. I don't know what the base value is. If this is x and y, then to the 4th equals 81, and you can solve from there. Okay. If you're curious, b is going to equal 0.75 for an answer of y equals 256 parentheses 0.75 to the x. If you want to solve that out. Tell you what, I'm going to pause there and I'll make a second video for the rest.